everybody, this is the third episode of The Come Up. Today we'll be featuring Josh Jacobs, running back for the Oakland Raiders. So this will touch on his prior to making the pros and then how he's become a 2019 first round pick. It's a very inspiring story because he came from eating with food stamps to now being the future replacement to a Hall of Fame running back in Marshawn Lynch. So just where he came from, where he is now, he's done really good for himself. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of background on Josh and his life, and then I'm gonna go into the football part of his life. So Josh was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1998 to Marty and Lachelle Jacobs. He was one of 5 children, and he lived a pretty average life, mom, dad, siblings, till he was 8. And then at 8 years old, his parents had split up, his father had moved out, and this is when the drama and chaos came into his life. So his father told his his children to live with the mother for now, and he would go live on his own. He'd work a crazy amount of hours to pretty much fund the family, while his mother was pretty much taking care of 5 children. It's a lot of children to take care of. So during this time, Josh was super upset with his mom because he didn't think that she was looking out for the best interest of her kids, and he wasn't trusting that she was using the money that the father was giving to her for the children. She was using it on necessities, I guess, for her, and other things that are not basic necessities, like let's say getting nails done, getting hair, things like that. And the kids had to eat from Salvation Army foods, like with food stamps and things like that, because of that reason. So Josh just said he's seen his dad give stacks and stacks of cash to his mom, and he never really saw the benefits of having any money in the house. So, at a young age, when Josh had confronted his mother about it, she got super upset with him, kicked him out, and he'd never lived with his mom again. And that's when he was roughly around 10 years old. So at this point, his father downsized from, I guess he lived in a house, and now he wants to move to an apartment. It'd be cheaper for him, and then he could have more money to give Lachelle, Josh's mom, because still 4 siblings of his are still living with the mom, right? So he still needs to take care of his family. At this point, they don't get the apartment, and so then Josh and Marty end up sleeping in Marty's car for several months. They said they would be driving around Tulsa, seeing what area looks not so scary, and they would just sleep there in the night. Josh would sleep in the back, and his father would sit in the driving seat just in case he needed to drive off. Josh said that it was pretty normal to him living in a car. I guess because when you're so young, you don't really realize the world around you. You just realize your world that you live in. So yeah, he said he never really realized that he was sleeping in the car. He knew he was, but it wasn't a huge deal. And he said that his dad, though, would sleep in the front with a gun loaded just in case something ever happened, because there are some bad parts in Tulsa. A few months later after that, Josh's 4 other siblings had moved in with Marty and Josh. At this point, though, their dad found a good place to live, got a 2-bedroom apartment for him and his 5 children. And they lived in there for a bit. After they lived in there for a little bit, they lost their apartment. So they bounced around motels, hotels, and different places with friends. So it was kind of like they were freeloading places, but they had no money anyway. So people were just helping them out. It was very difficult circumstances. So he was, Josh said he slept on floors in the apartments, floors on the hotels, motels. So it is pretty scary. And Marty was doing his best, on one paycheck. It really shows that his father really, tried to do everything he could for his family. And so Josh had used his football career to express himself in another way and get his mind out of living on a floor in an apartment just randomly, or in a car, just to get his emotions out. So he played at McLean High School in Tulsa. It wasn't a big football powerhouse. It was just a high school in the area. They had a football team. They didn't really know how to get players recruited. They didn't talk to coaches of colleges. It was pretty much pickup football. That's what it was, pretty much, just kind of regulated. They were playing in a league, but it was a low-end league. At that time, though, Josh played running back and quarterback for his team for the 4 years and rushed for over 5,300 yards and 58 touchdowns in that time. So he was really, really productive in his time there. His senior year, he just played quarterback, which is what high schools usually do when you don't have a actual drop back passer, or even if it's a running style QB, if you don't have a real quarterback in your team, you just put the best athlete on the team, the best player, just put them at quarterback. Have them have the ball the whole time. So that's what they did with Josh. And he's a really small dude, so it's really funny to see him there. So in his senior year, he rushed for 2,700 yards and 31 TDs. And at this point, like, those are amazing stats. Like, you know, like, he can go transfer to running back still, even if he's playing QB. And no one really, it's not that no one wanted him, no one knew who he was, right? So, and he was playing in Oklahoma. It's not like Tulsa's still a big state. I mean, like, Tulsa's a big city in a big state like Oklahoma for football. So I guess he was playing at a really small school, and they just they didn't know how to, you know, if you don't self-promote, you're not looking for it, and you're playing at a small school, it's really hard to get anybody to notice you. So during his senior year, 2 months leading to National Signing Day, which is like when most seniors, this is the day they sign, he had no offers from any FBS program. So this is like, FBS is obviously the tier, the top tier. This is, you know, schools like in the SEC, in the Big 10, the Big 12, things like that. The Power 5 schools is what you want. So he had no scholarship offers from any of those big time schools. And then as his days were approaching to pick your school, there was only a month left. So around like 30-ish days, received 2 offers. One from Wyoming and then one from New Mexico State. He was content with picking Wyoming until a Texas coach that he had got, I guess, in contact with had said to him, you should, if you don't have social media, download that, like, those social media apps now. He went on Twitter and posted a highlight tape of his senior year, and literally days until National Signing Day was coming up, boom, he got offers from Alabama, Oklahoma, Missouri, major Power 5 teams. Like, all the big teams all wanted him, and just from seeing his tape, so it just shows you, like, if you're playing in a small program, this goes to anybody who's watching that plays high school football. If your school can't help you get your name out there, you got to do it yourself. You got to go put your stuff on social media, put yourself on certain websites that are for recruiting, get your name out there, email every single coach that you can, call them, who knows, do whatever you have to do just to get your name out there. If your school, even if your school is doing it, still try and get your name out there, because maybe you can get, you know, especially if you're Canadian, maybe you can get from your high school, you can get a good college team like Western, or Queens has a good football team, UBC, like, you can get a good Canadian school. But maybe if you really tried hard enough, maybe you could push yourself into the US. And I'm not saying a big like Alabama, but there's nothing wrong with like Central Michigan. Like, that's an amazing school to go to. Rice, these are schools that Canadians have been to that I know of. Even Buffalo, University of Buffalo, like, just get your name out there. So yeah, you just gotta try sometimes, and it's really it's astounding to see, like, once you put your tape out there, like, all these people started messaging. So Josh had scheduled a visit to Alabama a week before National Signing Day, and he knew when he got onto the campus, he was going to play there right away. He knew, like, he just loved the vibe. He wanted to play on the biggest stage you can be, because, you know, for the last like 10 years since Saban's there, in the national championship every other year, if not consecutive years. I swear they're every year. It's actually insane. So he wanted to play in a national championship on a big stage with all the fans, and it's just crazy in Alabama. Football's everything there, especially the team. So he had decided to go in 2016 to Alabama, started sharing carries with Damian Harris, who was the highest running back in this class, and Bo Scarborough, who was the highest rated running back in the previous class, and was the #1 overall player in that class by, I think, like, one of the recruiting places, but like, he was a top 3 player in every single recruiting website. So he's playing, trying to get playing time with 2 5-star, like, top end talent running backs. It's funny though, because he's beating them out in college completely to get where he is in the NFL. He was a first-round pick. Bo Scarborough's undrafted. I think he plays in Seattle. I don't even know. It was Dallas and then Seattle, something like that. And Damien's a good player. He's like a 3rd round pick, I want to say, to New England this year. I don't really know how much he's gonna play. Maybe, you know, they run like they run sporadically. One running back this week, one running back. So he's gonna get a lot. I don't really know, but you know, he's definitely like benefited the most out of from his college experience of playing football. So let's go back to 2016 here. Even though he was in a big competition with 2 highly recruited players, still rushed for 567 yards and 156 receiving. Played in all 14 games, so that was pretty good. You know, it was a good freshman year, true freshman. Then going into 2017, just injured. Like the season was pretty much a scrap. It really ruined with his mental, and it wasn't really helpful. First 2 games injured, partially tore his hamstring. Then in week 5 he sprained his ankle, and while he was playing the rest of the season after that, he struggled to help Alabama win that national title. He just wasn't good. Like he was so injured. It's in your head, the injuries too. It's not just in the body. It's just you don't want to cut maybe because what if something happens with your hammy again? It's not good news. So going into his junior year last year, 2018, he spoke to several people about transferring schools, and he spoke to his dad and said like, yeah, I think I'm gonna transfer and go to so I can be the main back, because he felt like he was being overlooked. He felt like he wasn't appreciated, which is fine. You know what? I understand that. I've been there too, so I don't understand why he wanted to leave, but I really respect his actual decision, what he actually did. And what he actually did was he stayed. He stayed at Alabama. He told his dad, I changed my thought process on everything. I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna compete and I'm gonna beat out anybody else. I'm gonna become an NFL player from this school. Like I'm gonna showcase my best talents. He knew going in that he wasn't gonna get the ball the whole time, because still Damien Harris was there. They had Najee Harris, who's like the #1 rated running back 2 years ago, or last year, one of the 2. And then Damien's still there, so he knows like he's getting lots of talent. But he said to himself, and he said to everybody, I don't care how many touches I get. If I get 10 to 12, those 10 to 12 are gonna be the greatest 10 to 12 touches of a running back on the field for that night. And I rate that so much. Like, kudos to you. Whenever your opportunity arrives, go and kill it. So he had a pretty successful year in his rotation. Rushed for 640 yards and 11 TDs on 120 carries, so that's pretty good. Also had 247 yards receiving. And then if anybody watching this watched him play in the college playoffs, he was a bullet, like just disgusting. Just went off, killed Georgia in the SEC championship game, was the MVP there. And then against Oklahoma, the game was over in like the first quarter. Like, I'm an Oklahoma fan, and I was just like, all right, like this is over. Like, I think they were down 28-0, and then they scored one time, so it was like 28-7 going into the second quarter. Like, it was over, and Josh Jacobs was the main reason. So after that, he got a lot of accolades after that's last year's season, so he knew that this would be the best point, that his value would be pretty high. So he goes, enters the NFL draft, gets a bunch of buzz, consensus, #1 running back to be off the board. And throughout the whole pre-draft process, everyone knew he was going to either the Colts, the Eagles, or the Raiders, and he ended up going to the Raiders. So he's in line to get the bulk of the carries. He's gonna be running back 1, and I think he just signed with them, 4 years, 11.9 mil. So he's got his money. He can take care of his siblings, his dad, even his mom. So finally, he's there, but it probably feels like he hasn't accomplished anything yet. Knowing like a guy like that, like he probably wants to go in the NFL and just kill it, be a rookie of the year this year. And he has a good chance of doing that, especially with that team. So some final comments from researching about Josh Jacobs' life, and just like now I guess knowing part of him. He was eating food from the Salvation Army with like food stamps and things like that. And then he bounced around his dad's friends' places, sleeping on the floor in apartments, hotels, motels, just like in the car, like just crazy type of life, crazy. And he'd gone through so much adversity and at such a young age, and now to know where he is, he's achieved his ultimate goal, and now his goals are he's even risen with his goals. Now his goal was probably prior was, I want to make it to the NFL. Now it's, I want to be a great running back. I want to be a Hall of Fame player. I want to win a Super Bowl. Your goals change after you achieve them. you know, so it's good to see. So, you know, he's been overlooked his whole life pretty much, you know, by his mother, by his high school coaches even, by college recruits, and even in college, it's by his coaches. You know, he was never the main back. And finally, he's proven the doubters wrong. He's going to be the main guy in Oakland, and I know they're not going to split carries with him. He's going to be the guy, and you know, it's good to see. So I think he's going to have a pretty successful season. He's definitely going to have open running lane because he's Tyrell Williams on one side, Mr. Big Chest on the other side, Derek Carr in the back. I don't mind that at all. So, you know, I'm excited to watch him on Hard Knocks. And have a great day, everybody. Please like and subscribe to this video.